Todd, this is you've been at this for what, 9 years or in Houston and 30 years. I remember in Tampa, you've been all over the place since our days at Syracuse together. I think you were there for 8 of Bregman's 9 years. You've been in Houston with that. Let's talk a little bit about Alex Bregman and what Red Sox fans are going to see. I guess begin with what was your reaction to him signing the 3-year, $120 million deal this week?
Yeah, I was happy for him, but I was a little surprised that he got that much that late in the game. I thought he was going to be stuck somewhere. I know he would have preferred to have a longer deal, but it's hard to argue with 3 years and 120, 40 million a year. A guy who has opt-outs the next 2 years, so it ended up being something. He's always been a guy, Roche, that has bet on himself, going all the way back to his LSU days. He wears number 2, or he did with the Astros, to kind of remind himself that he wasn't the number 1 overall pick, that he was number 2. Use that as fuel. So he'll use this as fuel, that he didn't get the longer term deal, and he'll probably have a big 2025, I would guess. But you're getting the ultimate baseball gamer. Like, there's nobody in basketball, they call them gym rats. There's nobody who's more of a baseball gym rat than Alex Bregman. He eats, breathes, sleeps baseball. Changed slightly when he had his little baby Knox, but now he's turning Knox into a baseball gym rat too. So you're gonna love Alex. He's a great dude, and he'll do very well at Fenway.
Yeah, we're hearing the name Dustin Pedroia a lot as far as a comp goes. Would you say he's kind of close to that personality?
So I didn't know Petey as well as you did. I mean, Alex grinds, and everything he does is about baseball, and he wants to get better every day, and he wants his teammates to get better every day. So he calls guys in the middle of the night to talk about strategies or what they saw in this at bat. Or last year, he was really involved in helping the pitchers out. If Petey was that way, then yeah, that's what you're getting.
Well, when you look at also too, I think people don't realize that part of his game. Here in Boston, I thought it was interesting that Houston wanted him back. AJ Hinch and the Tigers wanted him. Alex Cora and the Red Sox wanted him. That said to me a lot about his personality and what he can bring to a baseball team outside of the X's and O's, if you will.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The people that know him best wanted him the worst. So AJ really, really wanted him. I know the Tigers were offering a lot for 6 years. I think, to be perfectly honest with you, Alex loves, he grew up kind of a Yankees fan. His mom's a huge Yankee fan, so he loves the atmosphere around the AL East. But I think if Fenway's dimensions were in Detroit and vice versa, he might have ended up in Detroit. I think Fenway's monster plays well for him. The dimensions at Comerica Park, maybe not so much. So, but I do think he likes the action. I do think he likes to be a part of the AL East. Not that the AL Central is anything to sneeze about, but I think it's more of a medium megalopolis when you talk about the divisions, and so I think he likes that.
Yeah, how do you think his swing will play to Fenway Park? He's a lifetime 375 hitter there. It looks like it's a perfect matchup, especially with a heavy lefty Red Sox lineup with Devers and Casas all the way through.
Yeah, it'll play very well. If you look back at all his home runs that he's hit at Minute Maid Park, there's a lot of them that were out in just one stadium, and that was in Minute Maid Park, which is now called Daikin Field, beginning in 2025. So yeah, Alex is going to hit a lot of balls that just clear the Fenway monster, or go high off the wall on the monster. So he'll end up with a lot of doubles and a lot of short home runs to left. But he can pull the ball well. The 1 year he participated, actually 2 years he might have participated in home run derby. Almost every home run hit to left field. So he'll be very good. And defensively, Gold Glover at third base, but I guess he might not end up at third base for you guys. So that'll be an interesting transition.
Yeah, that was my next question. Do you think Alex Cora was saying that in 2017 he talked to him about his footwork? He loved his footwork and thought he could be a Gold Glover at second base. It looks like, anyway, on paper, that they might let Devers just stay at third for now and put Alex at second to go with Story and Casas. Do you think he'll be fine in that transition?
I mean, on the surface, I would say yes, because it feels like second base should be an easier position than third. He did play shortstop in college, so he's got the ability to turn double plays. He's done it from the other side of the bag primarily. But yeah, that'll be an interesting transition, Roche. I think when you have a Gold Glove winner, right? And it wasn't like 2024. He stood out above his other years. He's been really, really good defensively for all 7 years I was there, all 8 years I saw him. Plus, he started out in 2016. It's just that he got the recognition last year. So you're talking about the elite guy at third base having to switch positions. But I understand the dynamic with Devers being there. But it will be an interesting transition for Alex. And I know how good he was at third. If he can be nearly that good at second, then that's something special too.
How popular was he in Houston, TK?
Really popular. He had his own little salsa, the Breggy Bomb salsa, which he's sold pretty well over
Is
the
it
years.
good?
And it's good. I mean, here's the thing: Texas has salsa all across the board. Like, there's so much salsa down in Texas that I can't put Breggy's at the top, but it's solid. It's a really solid salsa.
Is it on
Um,
sale?
it's probably going to be on sale now. Yeah, in Texas, might be full price of it in Massachusetts. Really good dude. He's in HEB commercials, which are our local supermarket down here. He's very much involved in charities that he can get involved with. Like I said, he's a grinder. He's always going to be at the field first and last in that group. So you're getting a really, really good guy. He's very much involved in the last half dozen years in the horse game. So his family owns a bunch of horses, the Bregman family stables. So he's really into horse racing. Just a really good, solid baseball grinder who's never going to have a day that he doesn't want to be at the ballpark.
It sounds a lot like Pedroia. What was it like to be around him every day, as far as just his personality, kind of the guy that he is with the media, and just being out there? You mentioned calling and talking with his teammates and talking baseball and things like that. What was he like to be around?
Really easy. I mean, most of our conversations were about baseball, but more recently there was some horse racing talk. Obviously, when he had his little son Knox, we were talking about the family a little bit. Just a really easygoing guy. He does put a lot of pressure on himself. He expects a lot of himself. Since that MVP run in 2019, he hasn't had that kind of year that he has hoped for since then, but it's still probably in there. I don't think he's going to finish one or two in MVP next year, but I certainly think his average OPS since then of being right around 800 is something he could easily surpass next year. But just a real fun guy to be around. You guys are going to love him in Boston.
Yeah, what was his year like last year offensively? He started slow, right? They have like a bad 6 weeks, and then was himself again.
Yeah, although starting slow is being himself. Alex is never gets out of the gate well, and if he does, you could be in for a monster year. April and May have traditionally been just awful for Alex, and I don't know if that's going to get any better playing in some colder climates in April or May, or even March. But yeah, it's kind of his mo. He starts slow, he tinkers, he figures it out. He usually has a better second half than first half.
And finally, how much will his leadership play here in Boston? Because you look at this team, there's so many young players, and they have some of the top prospects in baseball, and Roman Anthony, is bound to join them, Christian Campbell and everything else. But they kind of lack that like veteran leadership. But now that they have Walker Buehler, who's won a World Series in October, and now a guy like Bregman, who's won two, how much do you think that will play off and help here with this team?
So I kind of will defer to you on this because you've been around a lot of clubhouses and locker rooms, whether it's Patriots, it's the Sox, it's the Bruins, whatever. It's an interesting dynamic. Like, you can't. Bregman is a leader. Like, he was the leader last year of the Astros. But for a guy to go into a new environment and right away become a leader doesn't always happen. It might happen. It happens occasionally when you have a younger team and a guy can step in and fill that role right away. But Alex will probably take his time, and if he does eventually fill that role, I don't know if it'll be right away. I think he's one of those guys that's going to kind of blend in and be a good teammate. And if that role is necessary, he'll fill it. But I don't know if in that first year he just jumps to the front of the room and says, "Hey guys, this is how I do it. This is how it should be done." But I think Alex Cora will give him a lot of gravitas that way to try and be that leader at some point.
Well, TK, always a pleasure to chat with you, and enjoy spring training, enjoy the season, and we'll see what Alex Bregman brings. It should be fun up here in Boston.
Yeah, good luck. You will love him. I appreciate catching up with you as always, Roche.